Having had little or nothing by way of real side experiences over the last fortnight at least that I could recall an awakening, I thought on this occasion I might revisit a dream I did share on one of these Skypes many moons ago. As such, probably many of the present listeners may not have heard it, so I guess it is perhaps worth repeating, if only for their benefits. Right. Not for the first time, I recently heard somebody say that you never die in your dreams. Apart from the fact that I am always suspicious of such sweeping generalizations, I can tell you of an occasion which at least gives some doubt on that idea. But it does rather beg the question at what point death, so-called, actually commences and physical life ends. In a very vivid dream I had many years ago, I was about to be guillotined. I was talking quite cheerfully to the executioner standing by the machine that I was about to be put to death on. I wasn't in the slightest afraid. In fact, I was looking forward to an exciting adventure, and I can certainly think of very many worse ways of making the transition to the real side. We stopped talking and I clambered on board, the wooden collar being snapped down. So far so good. Then I heard the rattle of the blade rushing down on its tiny caster wheels, and with no feeling whatsoever experienced a falling sensation, stopping abruptly as my head landed in the awaiting receptacle. Lying there, I was surprised to still be conscious in the head and starting to get impatient. Impatience turned to panic as I could not get free, and there the experience ended. So was it death in a dream or not? The fact I was still conscious in the head suggests not, yet the body would have ceased to function the minute the blade went through the neck. At the turn of the 18th century, several French doctors conducted experiments on heads straight from the guillotine, but despite several suggestive results, it was never convincingly proven that the victim was still alive and kicking. Well, not kicking, as that was no longer under the brain's control, though odd twitching was always put down to muscular contraction. Modern thought suggests a sudden drop in blood pressure would probably result in instant blackout, but we generalise again. Nothing in life or death is ever that set in stone. As to the meaning of it all, I have to say I can't see any obvious message in it, other than as a possible past life recall. It was so long ago, though, it may no longer really be relevant, other than perhaps to say I was too much in my head, I don't know. As to the where and when, it could have been in any European state practically in the 1800s or even early 1900s, as very many of them used guillotines for executing criminals over that period, not just France. Or it could have, of course, been in France from 1792, when it was first used there, to 1946. It was last used there, in fact, in 1977, but I was already in this present physical vehicle from 1946. Besides which, I'm certain I know where I was in my last life, and it wasn't France. Revolutionary France seems unlikely, if only because of the sheer numbers they executed at a time. The executioner would hardly have had time to stop and chat. Anyway, I suppose it doesn't really matter anymore, but it is rather fascinating to me anyway. One last thought. From articles I've seen of late on the internet, it seems that in the USA, over the past few years, they have been quietly importing, apparently from China, tens of thousands of, guess what, guillotines. And I'm not talking about paper cutters here. Apparently, these are being quietly doled out to FEMA camps, future dissidents from the coming New World Order for the use thereon. It seems from leaked papers these have been chosen as the only commonly used form of execution that does not destroy or damage internal body organs. Such body parts are apparently big money makers for those in the know, and of course in the money. So maybe the dream was a glimpse of the future rather than the past, who knows. It seems unlikely the UK wouldn't have their equivalent camps and beheaded equipment hidden away, ready for use when the time comes.
I had never heard that one, Peter, but it's interesting. But here you are again. So what is death actually? So whether we die in our dreams or here, but we're still always here, aren't we? So here you are, and you made it.
In the writings that you and I think even Paul mentioned that the astral supervisor that karma or cause and effect had caught up to him. That's why he stopped throwing lightning bolts at the human beings and other things. I was curious, why hasn't karma or cause and effect caught up to the mental supervisor after all these millions of years?
Well, it actually has. It comes around in its own way. So again, no matter where an individual is in creation, no matter what body types they're in or whatever, they're moving and scouring around, even if it's in the blackness. And so they are, their ball and chain is the darkness that's occurring, and you're seeing it. And so unless they change their ways and wise up and become more aware as to what we're doing, etc., they're just going to be sucked into the blackness. And when this creation implodes, it's very simple. What's going on here? Well, then there's nothing left. Then a new creation will start. And these individuals have made themselves, you might say, what they are, just like you have made yourself. You're Ramone. You have certain ideas. You have a body type, etc. And you decide how you relate to that body type and that personality that you've created. You can decide differently at any time, but if you just constantly relate to it like you've grown up, you had parents, you had this and that, and you had good times, bad times. See, again, you created all those relationships, and you can hang on to them for as long as you want. And it'll all equal nothing, because it's all coming to nothing. It already is. It's just that when you wake up and see it. So again, these individuals already have. It's come around in its own particular way. So everybody that's in this creation bubble right now, and because there's many, there's like endless ones. This is how it is. And so we're in this one, and that's all that matters. What the other ones are doing, it don't matter. It's the same thing. And so they still exist somewhere, just like the Queen of Orion is in the Phantom Zone. It's just a dark place, is all it is. I just called it that because it's kind of fun. But it's just a dark place where she can't create. It's like a solitary confinement is really what it is, because of what she's done, that abrasiveness. And so life and the real guides are not concerned about what people do. Their only concern is finding those individuals that are willing to wake up from this and warning them, because again, they're not here to change things. But by the very fact that you step up or I step up and I've decided to do certain things, well, they in turn see that if I'm willing to follow through and handle all that, well, then they'll back me up, they'll support me, and they'll help me with that, you see? So again, but your question is that, yes, they're already in it. It's just that they, just like the deceptors on the earth, they're already in it. They're both feet are in the grave, you might say, but they just don't see it. But at the same time, they're also providing something for everyone else. So it's not that we're, the old way of looking at things is that, oh, okay, there's the bad people, like people mention politicians or whoever, and it's like, why aren't they in prison or whatever? Well, they already are in their own prison. It's just you have to see it. And they're actually providing experience, just like the COVID virus and all this nonsense. people are waking up because of the tragedies that are occurring. So again, it's choices, but they're already there. You see, their accumulation of what they've decided, they're already in it. Most people don't see it, and they don't see it themselves. They're just thinking that they can get away with anything they want because they have for the longest time. But now, because of the new presentation and what's been brought out, you know, they're having second thoughts because now all of a sudden they're realizing that what is being presented makes sense, because they basically controlled the board, and now they're seeing that they really don't, but still, just like the Queen, they love their arrogance more. So again, it's an interesting situation, but the end result will be they will be caught up in the blackness, and they will start over again in a new creation. But they will have all that experience too to deal with, so they can continually go on and on. If they cling to that, now they will be given assistance in a certain way. But again, the free will of the individuals is very, very important. And we all must have free will, because that's the only reality we have that we can relate to, this true reality. We have to have that free will 100% to go with our intent and certain attitudes and other things to embrace ourselves with this reality, because this is just how it is. But yes, they're in it, young man. So, but we're not looking to this or that with others. Just, you know, sidestep them, whatever, but face them, because they're really nothing. Yeah, maybe they can destroy the body, but, you know, when you stand up to them, even here, you know what? Things happen because the real guides are there. You just realistically stand up to them, and don't be concerned about what's going on. You want to have a purpose and a real purpose to become involved, and what will you do? See, it's all in the doing. So it's not about what if this or what if that, or, you know, I like this or I don't like that. It's about what you do every moment. And are you taking part? Are you being creative because you have an imagination and everything else to relate to something that can help free people? And are you willing to face these people? I face them all the time, every day, and I do all kinds of stuff. I'm doing things all over the world that you don't even know about, that I'm facing these people and seeing if they will step up and creatively communicating with them. And who will do that? Most people are running and hiding and thinking that, oh, gee, I can't do anything or whatever. Anybody can do anything. The idea is, will you do it? It's up to you.